Press down.
Alright, so tonight, like you guys know, the theme is being unashamed. And so we're going to be in Daniel chapter 3 tonight. You don't have to turn there if you want to, that's where the story's from. We'll be talking about these three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These guys were, just to give you a little bit of background to this story, these guys were Israelites, Jews, and in the nation of Babylon at the time. Babylon had conquered Israel, and during that time, it was custom for the conquering nation to take the people from the conquered nation and distribute them throughout their land and their country to kind of make them assimilate into their own people. It would stop riots and uprisings and just anything like that. So, these three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they are Israelites in a foreign land who have been taken from their country, and they have still continued to worship God. They have stood up and been bold and been unashamed of God, of worshiping God, and have made it known to the people that see them and interact with them. And God has blessed them for this and have put them in a position of power in this other country. So, at the same time, the king of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar, he thought that it would be a good time to build a big idol out of gold to have everyone worship that represented the king's own greatness and power. And so he had this big idol built that was for to be worshipped. And every day, these musicians would play these loud trumpets and bagpipes and lutes and all sorts of instruments and music you could think of. And this would mark the time that the people were supposed to turn to the big idol and bow down. And so, try to imagine just standing in a crowd out on the street, people all around, this music starts playing, trumpets, bagpipes, lutes, all sorts of instruments, and everybody starts to bow down. Everybody's on their knees, all these citizens of Babylon, people from other countries that have other gods, bowing down to this idol, other Israelites bowing down to this idol. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego boldly stand there, firm, refusing to worship this idol, being unashamed that they will only worship God. And so, being Israelites and in this foreign country, having some power, there's people that don't really like them. Well, these people that don't like them, these enemies, see that they're refusing to worship the idol that the king has made. So the king, his enemies of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they go to the king and they say, "Oh, mighty king, we've seen these guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they're refusing to worship you." And so this upsets the king because he made a law that one has to worship him. So they're breaking his law. So he has them called before him, and when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego come up to the king starts to say, "Is this true? These guys are saying you're not worshiping me." And he tells them that, "You know what, that's fine if you haven't been worshiping me, they're about to play the music. When they do, just bow down. I'll forgive you for the past. Just do it right now." And like before the king can even finish speaking, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego just stop him and just, no, we're not going to do that. We can't do that. Standing there in front of probably the most powerful man at this time, one of them, in the whole world, just in utter fear, facing most likely death, just, no, we can't do that. We're not going to do that. We will only worship God. They continue to be bold and be unashamed. So, this makes Nebuchadnezzar even more furious with them. And the punishment for not worshiping this idol was to be thrown into a fiery furnace. Well, King Nebuchadnezzar was so upset that he commanded his servants to heat the furnace 7 times hotter than it normally was supposed to be heated. It says it was so hot that the men that tied up and threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the furnace were killed just from the heat and being exposed to those flames. And so, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego tied up, thrown into this furnace 7 times hotter than it was supposed to be. And King Nebuchadnezzar, he's looking into the furnace and he starts to be puzzled and startled. And begins to, he asks his guys, we only threw three guys in there, right? We just threw those 3 men in the furnace. And they're like, yeah, there's 3 of them. And well, why are there 4? He sees 4 men standing there in the furnace. Not just Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego walking around in the fire like it's not even there, like it's not even bothering them. But then this 4th man standing in there with them. And it describes him, it says that he looks like the Son of God in there. Jesus has come down to be there with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, protect them, keep them safe. And so King Nebuchadnezzar is, starts thinking about it, just is awestruck, and just, gets them out of the furnace, and they look like fire hasn't even touched them. And he's just amazed by this miracle that would happen. And so King Nebuchadnezzar, he's just awestruck, and then asks him, he tells Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that, wow, this is so amazing. And he goes and makes another law that no one in the land can talk badly or can say anything bad against the God of Israel, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Because of their boldness, their being so unashamed and just out front about being for God, it showed King Nebuchadnezzar, one of the most powerful men in the world at this time, that he knew the power of the one true God. And praise team, I believe. Praise team up here for some more time.